Ladies and gentlemen, there are moments in life when a simple date holds more meaning than the numbers imply. June 25, 2025 is not just another day. It is a mirror to reflect where you are and, more importantly, you could be. There are moments in life when time itself feels like a gentle whisper rather than a loud command. June 25, 2025 is one such moment, not because the world will end, not because something dramatic will occur, but because you have been given a symbolic checkpoint. You are being asked to pause, not because you're behind, because life is asking if you're truly present. So many people move forward simply because the days pass, because they've made a conscious decision to grow. But what if, for once, the calendar was more than a reminder of meetings and tasks? What if it became a mirror to your soul? We often forget that the most dangerous illusion is not failure. It is the belief that we have forever to heal later. We plan to speak truth later. We plan to start over later. But wisdom is not a matter of tomorrow. It is a decision for now. The longer we delay our inner work, the deeper our unconscious patterns root themselves. Every day we ignore this call. We reinforce habits that weigh down our potential. And yet, time doesn't scold us. It waits. It gives us chances, gently but firmly. Here you are, given a deity, a moment in time before which you are called to reflect, to realign, and to respond. This is not about fear. This is not about pressure. This is about clarity. If June 25 becomes a quiet promise to yourself, what kind of preparation does your soul need? Not the kind filled with frantic action, but the kind rooted in intentional stillness. Ask yourself, who am I becoming? The park. Not who do others expect me to be, not what image am I projecting, but deeply, honestly, who am I becoming? The answers to these questions do not come when you're running through the park. They come when you pause long enough to hear your own voice beneath the noise of the world. In many ways, the park. Your growth is not waiting for more information. It is waiting for your decision. You already carry the wisdom inside you. Wisdom without action becomes regret. You must walk it, embody it. And that path begins now, not when it's convenient. This message be a doorway, a turning point. Even the smallest change made with sincerity can shift the direction of your life. You do not need to change everything, but you must change something. So let this be your moment, a moment to say, before that day comes, I will choose presence over distraction, discipline over delay, courage over comfort. And when June 25, 2025 arrives, it won't mark a finish line. It will be a quiet celebration of all the inner work you chose to do. It will be a day you greet with readiness, not regret. And most importantly, it will mark the beginning, not the end, of the self you were always meant to become. There is something profound about recognizing that a specific day in the future can hold meaning not because of what the world says, but because of what you decide it will mean to you. June 25, 2025 has no errant magic. It is an ordinary date unless you choose to make it sacred in your journey. Human beings change when they create intention. A date, when seen with awareness, becomes a sacred contract with oneself. It becomes a line in the sand, not to restrict you, but to focus you, running the park. To remind you that your time here is not infinite and your purpose cannot be postponed forever. Most people wait for a breakdown before they seek a breakthrough. They wait for the pain to scream before they listen to the silence within. Why wait? What if clarity could come not from chaos? That is what this moment is offering you. Running, a choice to pause before the storm. A choice to turn inward before life forces you to. Because whether you choose it or not, life will always demand your attention. But when you give your attention freely, with discipline and peace, life becomes your companion, not your opponent. Consider what it means to carry a quiet burden every day. Old anger, unspoken fears, silent disappointments. Through the park, these do not fade with time, they dissolve with conscious action. And that action doesn't have to be loud. It can begin with a single breath taken fully, a single moment of truth to yourself, a decision to no longer carry what no longer fits. Between now and June 25, you have space. Space to let go, space to realign, but only if you use it. If you treat these coming days like ordinary time, they will pass like any other. But if you approach them with discipline and presence, become a forge. They become a sacred fire in which the old version of you can melt away and the clearer, stronger version can be shaped. This fire only works if you step into it willingly, running through the park. There is no growth without the courage to face the parts of yourself that you have avoided. There is no peace without first confronting the inner noise. Do not mistake stillness for weakness. Do not mistake reflection for delay. The deepest strength is built in silence, and the most powerful movements are born from stillness. Use these days not to run faster, to walk truer. Choose to speak the truth, to let go of what weakens you, and to practice one small act of discipline every day. When June 25 comes, let it find you not in the same place mentally or spiritually. Let it find you elevated, aware, and ready. Not for perfection, but for real presence. Because when you choose to grow before you're forced to, you walk a path of wisdom. Wisdom, once chosen, never abandons you.
The reason a specific date can stir something deep within us is because it awakens the awareness of time passing. June 25, 2025 stands not as a final moment, but as an opportunity to ask a powerful question. What am I doing with the days I've been given? Time flows, whether we use it or waste it. But awareness, true awareness, allows you to convert time into transformation. It is not about rushing toward a goal. It is about living with such clarity that each moment becomes purposeful. Most people wait for motivation, as if it will knock on their door one day. But motivation is not found, it is built, and it is built by doing what must be done, even when the feeling isn't there. The days ahead are not guaranteed, and yet, within this uncertainty lies the opportunity to live more deeply. Many people avoid this truth because it is uncomfortable to face. We surround ourselves with distractions and noise, so we don't have to hear the voice inside that says, "You are meant for more." But eventually, the noise becomes exhausting, and silence, once feared, becomes the only thing that feels honest. Between now and that approaching date, there is a window of choice, a sacred window where you can sit with your inner self and decide, I will no longer betray the potential within me. It begins by confronting the small betrayals, the promises you broke to yourself, the moments you chose comfort over truth, the time you wasted not because you didn't care, but because you forgot. Remember what matters. This confrontation is not to shame you, it is to awaken you, because until you become brutally honest with where you are, you cannot shift into who you are capable of becoming. The most powerful transformations don't come from massive changes overnight. They come from small, clear, daily decisions. Choosing to rise early, choosing to breathe when you want to react, choosing to say no when your soul says enough. These are not grand gestures, but they are sacred steps, and when taken consistently, they change not only how you live, but who you are. There is no pressure in the date itself. The pressure lies in postponing what your spirit already knows it must do. June 25, 2025 is simply a moment to measure your alignment. Are you living with intention? Are you walking your talk? Are you becoming who you know you can be? Let that day become a symbol, not of what you failed to do, but of what you chose to begin. Even if the changes are small, they matter. So, carry this message gently, but with conviction. Carry it into each day as a reminder that your life is not waiting for something magical to happen. It is waiting for you to remember that you are the one who creates the magic through discipline, awareness, and the courage to begin now. Transformation is not something that happens on a single day. It is the slow unfolding of your deepest truth over time. But every transformation must begin with a moment of decision. June 25, 2025 is a symbol of such a decision. It is not about the world changing on that day. It is about you deciding before that day who you choose to be. Many wait for external signs to give them permission to evolve. But the most powerful growth never waits for the perfect conditions. It begins in silence, in solitude, in the quiet resolve to no longer stay the same. We live in a world that teaches us to focus on outcomes, titles, achievements, results. But the truth is, real growth happens before those things appear. It begins in the unseen. It begins in how you speak to yourself when no one is listening. It begins in the thoughts you allow, the habits you repeat, the emotions you feed. And if you do not bring awareness to these hidden places, then even the most successful life can feel empty. The date ahead is not about crossing a finish line. It is about awakening the part of you that has remained asleep while time continued to move. Look honestly at how you are spending your energy. Are you investing in distraction or in discipline? Are you pouring yourself into growth or slowly drifting in routines that leave you unfulfilled? Time is not just something that passes. Time is something that either builds or breaks you, depending on how you use it. You must choose to step into each day with mindfulness, not perfection, but intention. To live with clarity does not require dramatic change. It requires consistent awareness. There are things inside you that want to be released, old doubts, lingering fears, voices from the past that told you who you're not. These are not truths, they are weights, and the longer you carry them, the harder it becomes to move forward freely. This is the invitation that stands before you now, not to escape who you are, but to return to who you were before the world told you to be someone else. The path is not outward, it is inward. The most important work you will ever do is not visible to others. It is the quiet work of changing your thoughts, calming your reactions, honoring your truth, and acting with integrity even when it's difficult. This kind of work is not celebrated with applause, but it is what gives you peace, and that peace is the foundation upon which everything else is built. So do not wait for June 25 to begin. Begin now. Use the days before as a sacred space to realign your life with what truly matters. When the date arrives, let it not find you lost in the same patterns. Let it find you walking a little straighter, breathing a little deeper, and standing a little taller, not because the world changed, but because you did.
There is something sacred about preparation. It is often unseen, often uncelebrated, yet it holds the quiet strength of transformation. As you look toward June 23, 2025, understand that this moment on the horizon is not meant to create pressure. It is meant to inspire presence. It is a reminder that the time you are standing in right now is not ordinary. These days are an opportunity. They are a window through which you can shape a future that aligns with your highest self. We live in a world that idolizes urgency, where everything must happen quickly, instantly, and visibly. But true change defies that pace. It unfolds in silence. It takes root in patience. It matures in consistency. The self you are becoming is not formed in a single act, but through repetition. In the way you breathe through discomfort, in the way you return to your practice, even when motivation is nowhere to be found, in the way you remain centered when distractions pull at you from all directions. Every moment between now and June 23 is a lesson. Training session, a spiritual repetition when you learn to treat your daily life as a dojo, a sacred place of practice. You stop waiting for life to give you meaning and start creating it yourself. You begin to realize that your peace is your responsibility. Your discipline is your protection, and your focus is your freedom. There will be days that feel heavy, days when the mind wants to wander, days when the body feels weak. On those days, remember this: it is not about being perfect. It is about remaining. The strength you build by continuing, especially when it's difficult, is the most authentic kind. It is the kind of strength that stays with you, not just until June 23, but long after. Make a decision now that you will walk these coming days with clarity, that you will observe your patterns, not to judge them, running through the park, but to understand them, that you will listen to your internal dialogue and, where necessary, rewrite the script. Not every thought deserves your belief, and not every emotion requires your reaction. In stillness, you will discover that awareness is the first tool of transformation. Prepare not just externally, but internally. Strengthen your body, yes, but also sharpen your mind. Practice presence. Listen more. React less. Engage with your life fully. Don't just move through the days. Let the days move through you. Let them teach you. Let them change you. And when June 23 arrives, you will not need to prove anything. You will not need validation or applause, because the quiet confidence of a prepared soul cannot be faked. It is felt. It is seen in your calm, in your posture, in your choices. That is what awaits you, not a celebration, but a realization you used your time wisely, that you showed up, and that, above all, you honored the promise you made to yourself. There is an invisible contract we sign each morning we wake up, a silent agreement between who we are now and who we are capable of becoming. June 23, 2025 represents the fulfillment of that contract. It is not a date of destiny, but a date of reflection, a marker in time that will reveal, without bias, how you use the days leading up to it. The version of yourself that meets that date will not be created on that day. It will be revealed by the small decisions you make between now and then. Every thought you entertain, every choice you repeat, every emotion you feed, these become your identity. Whether you move forward or remain stuck is not determined by dramatic action, but by daily alignment. And alignment begins with awareness. Are your habits building the life you say you want? Or are they silently pulling you away from it? Awareness does not always feel comfortable. It is always necessary, because without it, we drift, we rationalize, we delay. If you want to meet June 23 with clarity and strength, the work must begin inward. Too often we search for external answers, new routines, motivational videos, another plan. But all true change begins in the space between your breath and your belief. If you believe that you are not ready, then you will behave as someone who avoids growth. But if you believe that every day is training, that every challenge is your teacher, you move differently. You walk with intent. You speak with care. You train your body and your mind to work together, not in conflict. Transformation is not found in the rush. It is found in the rhythm. Find your rhythm. Not the rhythm of the world around you, but the one within. Move in alignment with your values. Show up even when it's hard. Hold yourself accountable in the quiet when no one is watching. That is where the real work is done. You do not need to be extraordinary to begin. You need only to begin with sincerity. Each day leading to June 23 be a repetition of commitment, not for perfection, but for progress. If you fail, fail consciously. Learn. Adjust. Return stronger. This path is not about reaching a destination. It's about becoming someone who walks it with honor. Let go of the illusion that you need more time. You do not. What you need is deeper focus, greater presence, stronger discipline. Those things are within reach. They are not given. They are grown step by step, choice by choice. When June 23 arrives, it will not ask what you hoped for. It will show you what you practiced. And your reflection in that moment will be honest. Let it reveal a soul that stayed the course, a mind that sharpened through effort, and a body that moved with purpose. Let it reveal that you were awake to your life, fully present in your process. That is the only proof that matters.